When we talk about extractive industries, we're usually talking about oil, gas, and mining. Some people also include logging, the timber industry. And basically the reason that we care about it is that these industries are found, well, they're all over the world, but many of the world's poorest countries are very rich in natural resources. And the oil, gas, and mining wealth that we're seeing coming out of these countries is not necessarily benefiting the poor people in those countries. The Democratic Republic of the Congo has been embroiled in conflict for years. And in the eastern Congo right now, a lot of what we're seeing is conflict that's centered around natural resources. In the last year, about 250,000 people have lost their homes, fled because of the violence. And a lot of what's going on is militias fighting for control over small mines and using the funding from those mines to fund their activities. There are a variety of different things going on, but two of the important ones are cassiterite, which is tin ore, and coltan. And coltan we find in cell phones, consumer electronics, Game Boys, laptop computers, that sort of thing. So in the U.S., almost every day, we're using items that affect people in places like the Congo. In the United States, we're the end users of much of the oil and the gas and minerals that are produced around the world, and that gives us a particular moral responsibility to see that they're produced wisely. Now, my cell phone, I don't know where the coltan in my cell phone is from. It could be from the Congo, and that means that my cell phone, the production of my cell phone, could have contributed to violence in the Congo. Now, I don't know that, but I do know that the next cell phone I buy, I want to make sure that I buy from someone who can tell me that that cell phone did not contribute to violence against women and children. So one of the things that we can do as consumers is, first, if you don't need a new cell phone, don't buy one. If you're going to buy a new one, recycle it or donate it, and get in touch with the manufacturers and the sellers of cell phones and tell them that you want them to assure that they're sourcing their coltan and their other minerals from areas where they're not contributing to violence. You can also get in touch with your representatives in Washington and ask them to take a look at a new bill that's coming out that would look at this issue of the links between violence and some of these minerals that are coming out of the eastern Congo. Many of these countries that are rich in oil, gas, and minerals are extremely poor countries. And much of the money that flows into those government coffers that's legitimately paid by the oil and mining companies doesn't actually get into the national budget and come out in programs like health and education. It's estimated that in the last 25 years in sub-Saharan Africa, the amount of oil money that was lost to corruption is approximately equal to the entire amount of foreign aid that sub-Saharan Africa received in that same 25-year period. Now, that means that if that money had been used wisely by those governments, then we could have doubled the impact of the foreign aid, or we could have used that foreign aid in other places. So one of the things that we can do is help local activists in these countries who are pushing their governments for more transparency in the budgeting. We can help them by helping them get more information on the budgets that their governments have. There is new legislation being proposed in Congress that would require extractive companies to publish what they pay to the governments where they do the extractive work, where they're extracting oil and minerals. By publishing that information, people in those countries will know how much money is coming into their government from those sources, and it's often incredibly vast amounts of money. And that can help them hold their governments to account for the spending. One really good resource for thinking about transparency and helping get information to activists in other countries who are working often at great personal risk is an organization called Publish What You Pay. And there are Publish What You Pay coalitions in over 30 countries around the world right now. We have one here in the United States, and their webpage is an excellent source for information on this.